Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dream Business, Dream Life. Today I'm joined by the amazing Georgie Shears. Georgie is a passionate life design strategist and trusted right-hand woman to high-achieving business founders. She supports entrepreneurs in maintaining whole life fulfillment through success, balanced mental and physical health, strong personal connections, and continual realignment with their true priorities. She's an absolutely amazing human being, and I am delighted to be chatting with her today. Hello, Georgie. Great to have you here.
Well, I need to take you along with me everywhere. Thanks so much, Emma. And I'm delighted to be invited here. You know how much I love your company. So thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. Right. You know me, I love to dive straight in. So let's dive straight into this. Tell me your growth story.
Right. Okie dokie. I mean, how long have we got? So we're going to start at a very poignant piece. Okay. I am going to go back to 2020, really is where we're going to start. But just to explain that I've had a kind of lifelong feeling of not feeling good enough, I guess. And that remained with me due to loving home, all the rest of it. I just had a pretty useless father. And just that one little seed left this thread going through my life that I wasn't good enough, people pleasing, trying to make everybody know I was good enough, bending myself to fit, basically, which leaves you never fitting in. Then I went through some pretty bad relationships. I was having horrific panic attacks. I went through a time in my life, probably from being about 26 for 3 years, where I'd wake up in the morning and the panic attack would last all day. It was utterly horrific. Again, I wasn't in a life that I even recognized. I don't even know who I was back then. It doesn't feel like me talking about that person. I met my husband about 15 years ago. My life changed very much. It was someone who was very like me. I will race through this bit. I had my gorgeous daughter. I had everything the success boxes want to tick. So I'd left my boyfriend and gone bankrupt and lost everything. But I tell you what, when I left him and I had nothing, I found me. So I think that's a really poignant piece. Then I met my husband and we went on to have my gorgeous daughter. But again, I had everything. I ticked all the boxes. I had financial security by this point, a good job, all the things that you tick. And I was allowed to it's able to stay at home with my daughter, which was magical. She was all I'd ever wanted. And I lost me. And I became very passive aggressive and resentful and not about being with her. Being with her was amazing. But how come you get to go out and work and how come you get to build all this and that happened? Da da da. Anyway, then, as always, I listened into the voices inside. I'm like, you need to do something about this. And I went and followed my lifelong passion, which was fitness training, anything to do with health, longevity, getting the most out of this one precious life that we have, which is still my massive passion. Burning passion gets bigger every year. Went and trained as a PT, not enough for me, kept learning, became an individual design coach, helping humans get the very most out of this world. So did that, thriving business, had my son along the way as well, literally everything I ever wanted. In comes COVID 2020. Very sadly, this came at the same time as my deep breath. Cousin was in her final stages of cancer. That's a hard one for you too. And health anxiety had always been the way that anxiety kind of manifested with me. The panic attacks was always because I had something undiscovered. Of course, I didn't, but that was what happened. That was what my brain was telling me. I shut down my in-person business, had my children homeschooling at home, which I very much wanted, very much felt lucky. Sadly, started having horrific panic attacks again and couldn't let them see that happening. And the turning point for me, the real growth journey, the major growth journey happened when I found myself collapsed in a heap in a sort of makeshift gym I'd made myself at home. I'd had a panic attack in the kitchen because, like an idiot, I'd been watching the news with the rising death tolls and I just panicked. In my head, I was definitely going to be struggling on a ventilator. So I'd gone upstairs to get on my exercise bike. Exercise being a way I'd learned to manage my anxiety, and my body, because bodies are very clever, just went, no, you're not ignoring this. And it just collapsed. My hips were in pain. I was just in a heap on the floor, trembling, thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? I've got my children downstairs. They can't see me like this. And I sat there and it was almost like some massive power rose up in me and just went, you have got to get better. You have got no choice this time. There's no running. You're in lockdown. So I got my phone and I searched, how do I stop a panic attack now? And I saw a meditation. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, meditation, whatever. But I was desperate. So I did it and it stopped it. And it was in that moment I sort of put two and two together, and I was like, you've just been watching the news and had a panic attack. And meditation that cost you nothing has just stopped it. And in that moment, I'm like, so don't ever watch the news again. And I haven't. I don't. It's now 2024 because I can't deal with it. You know, each to their own. I now know, listening to my body, I can't deal with it. But meditation. So I start looking into meditation. I'm like, oh, how do I help myself get over anxiety? And a lot of it is about tuning into your intuition, the messages your body is already sending you. So cut it short, because I could go on forever, I just took a deep dive into all this stuff I'd previously rolled my eyes at. I'm like, who knew limiting beliefs even existed? I thought the things you told yourself in your head were true. You know, I thought I wasn't good enough. I wasn't capable of this. People like me couldn't have this. What a load of bull, right? So this has been such a changing point. So I deep dived into all these things: meditation, tuning into your intuition, getting quiet and hearing yourself, knowing what you're really capable of. Because beyond not thinking I was good enough, there was always a sense of, you know, you're made for big things and you'll always be all right. That was even deeper down. And here I was allowing it to come out. But not only for me, I realised that what I had here was the missing piece in my jigsaw of helping humans get the most out of life. And I didn't have to physically be there to help them do this bit. I could deliver this stuff online during lockdown. So I set myself, I had never even been on a Zoom call, Emma, by this point. In fact, when I did go on my first one, I was bright red and trembling. Honestly, ridiculous when I look back now. So yeah, so I got myself completely better. I can honestly say I have not had a panic attack since then. That's 4 years ago. Anxiety is a thing of the past. I think I had a pang of it because it came up on a memory about a year ago. I just don't get anxiety, I never do now. And I see it as if I feel any of those feelings, I now know it's just a message from my body saying something's out of alignment, listen in. So anyway, I was like, right, I need to get this out to the world. I need to shout from the rooftops. We've all got this free toolkit that can help us really thrive and become what we want. And I launched Shift, and I developed my Shift life design system off the back of it, which is just a framework I use myself to help you get better. Now, that is my growth story. And here I am, still growing, still learning every day, still applying the habits more and more all the time, slowly integrating them into my life so they stick. And if I don't like them, I get rid, and if I love them, here they stay. And yeah, that's my story in a little whirlwind for you.
Fantastic. Absolutely. I absolutely love it. I can see, and anybody that's watching this on YouTube will see that too. Absolutely see and hear your passion
Oh,
about not only how, I'm going to use the word proud of yourself that you are in terms of your journey and how you have overcome something that could have been life-changing for you, couldn't it? It could have made you a completely different person if you'd have let that continue. So how you've changed that for you, but then how you've gone on to, to build yourself a business that, as you said, is still growing, but that's life, isn't it? Everything is always still growing. There's, when we
I hope
get to the
so.
stage, we always want the next one, don't we? We always want the next
Yeah.
stage, as long as we're enjoying it along the way. I want to first touch on one of the things that you said right at the very beginning. Well, it's probably in the middle. Let's go into the middle. You said that, when you were collapsed on the floor and you thought, I have to do something, this cannot continue. And you said that you Googled, we all do this, don't we? We Google things, how can I solve this problem? And it threw up something that your gut reaction was to turn around and go, no, meditation, how's that going to help me? And I think that's a key thing that I think I'd love to chat a little bit more about with you, because I imagine you get that with your clients. They'll come along, they're in a position where, they know that they need to do something about it. And you're going to say to them, this thing is going to help you. And their gut reaction is going to be, nah, that's not going to help me.
Of course. So do you know what I've started to do with that? And this is always learning, because it is not for me to change somebody's mind. They have to be ready to make a change. However, I have to make it accessible. And the word meditation for me, what that showed me was somebody sitting on a hill, legs crossed, chanting Om. And I've never done anything like that. I don't do any of that. Meditation for me is just getting quiet. So what I call it now, and I'm about to release a load actually, is audio recordings to release anxiety. Who doesn't want that? It's the
Exactly.
prime thing people ask me about is anxiety. And I have to say, people are really resistant to trying these things. They'll try everything around it apart from these things because they are seen as woo-woo, or I haven't got time for that. And actually, like you're saying, when you feel like you haven't got time, that's the time you need to take to just get quiet, because it quietens all the noise and creates this massive time that we all need. But you're right, people are resistant. However, they tune in and watch the way I deliver, and it's very down to earth. And they're like, oh, you seem pretty normal. Don't know about normal, but you know what I mean? Pretty mainstream, busy brained like we all are. So they are a little more willing to, all right, well, if you're trying it, I'll give it a go. And of course, the results are there for themselves. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And then that's the same in anything, isn't it? You've obviously grown your business. You know that it's a bit of an uncomfortable journey at times, isn't it? Because we have to do things that somewhere within us, our mind, those limiting beliefs that you spoke about earlier, are telling us, no, 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 this isn't for you. You're not going to step over that
oh,
hurdle. So it's quite an uncomfortable journey, isn't it, to grow a business? But it's when you actually take that first step, when you allow yourself to just try. Give it a go, because what's the worst that can happen?
do you know what the worst that can happen for me is? And this is the thing that sits underneath everything, looking back at my life and thinking, why didn't I just dare and do that?
Yeah,
Honestly, that's my
yeah,
biggest thing. So, I spoke on a stage for you. I was terrified because one of my things is I could never speak in front of people. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm about to do Ideas Fest, right? It was a load of rubbish. It was just a message holding me back. And is it uncomfortable? My God, yeah. However, you know how exciting is uncomfortable at times when you've done it, when you start to
Exactly.
do the thing. Look
Yeah.
at you, you're doing this. I'm sure when you first set up a podcast, you haven't got a clue how to do it when you first do it.
Oh,
Who
God,
knows when you do it?
exactly. I put off starting this podcast for literally a couple of years,
Yeah.
literally 2 years. Now, okay, there was the messy little bit in the middle that we all know about that
Yeah.
affected everything. But
Mhm.
generally, it took me 2 years to actually force myself, and that is the word I'm going to use. I had to force myself to say, well, why can't you do it? What is stopping you? Oh, I can't do the tech. I can't
I
do
was
this. I
just going
can't
to say,
do
I
that.
bet you use the tech as the thing to stop.
Exactly.
That's the one I
And
did. Yeah.
exactly. And it's not as complicated as you think. When you sit there and what I do, and I know you're a strategist too, Georgie, so
Yeah.
Brian probably thinks the same. You'll sit and
Yeah.
create a thing that says, what do I actually need to do? Forget
Yeah.
all the fancy stuff that sits around it, but what are actually the basic things that I need to do, and focus on one at a time. And before you know it, you've got a live podcast and you think, well, that wasn't actually as hard as I thought it was. And that's the key, isn't it? It's taking that first step to doing it. And when you got on that stage for me at the growth event, I mean, it was my first ever growth event too. So I was
Yeah.
equally feeling really, really nervous. You absolutely smashed it. You smashed
So
it.
did you. And
We
how
both
did I?
did.
And I think really important to note, and this is something I did not realize before this journey. Every time you do something that's out of your comfort zone and you make yourself do it, you've done it and you grow in confidence. Now, I used to think, no, I've got to wait until I feel confident before I can go and do it. That's been a real key gold piece of learning for me, is that you only get confident after you've done the thing. That is how you grow in confidence, is continually nudging that comfort zone, daring do the things and feeling that pride in yourself. And you want it more and more.
Yeah,
Like a
exactly.
healthy dopamine, isn't it? A healthy dopamine hit. So
Exactly, exactly. And also, I think it's, just to point out that it doesn't matter what stage in business you are at, you will reach a point where you feel uncomfortable again, because growth happens all the way along your journey. So as soon as you start to get comfortable, the next step is you're going to go to from comfortable is uncomfortable, because it follows, as long as you're growing, you're going to get uncomfortable. But it's amazing, isn't it? That's why I love, and I'm sure you do this too, personally and with your clients, reflection. I love sitting and looking back at how far you've come, even sometimes in the last week, the last day, the last month, the last 6 months, because often we sit here and say, oh, I've hardly done anything this month. Hardly done anything. I've had a really rubbish month. I've achieved nothing. I've took nothing off my list. And then, we'll sit and have the conversation and say, okay, so let's have a look. Let's think about some of the things you have done. Did you do that the month before, but you've done it this month? Okay, tick, you've done one thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so reflection is really powerful, isn't it? To look back at where you were and to look at where you are now.
Yeah, and often that thing, in addition to that, it's that feeling of it's not working because it's not as quick as you thought. And that's another valuable piece, is make sure you reflect on how far you have come. Because even if you think it's not working, it's like, where were you a year ago? Where were you now? So yeah, maybe it's not exactly as you thought it would be at this stage that you just imagined, but how much further are you on than you were? That is amazing. So imagine this time next year, this time 10 years, where are you going to be? It's massive. It's gorgeous reflection, isn't it? If you do it
It
like
is.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I encourage people to do more of it, to absolutely do more of it. Some people say that they don't like to look back, but I actually think it's good to look back. As long as you're comfortable with it, I get why there's places people don't want to go back to.
Mm.
I completely get that. But, sitting and reflecting and thinking about it to me, is a massive, massive thing.
Even daily, if you don't want to go back far, I think
Yeah.
another little dead simple one I picked up was everyone's so happy to write this massive never-ending to-do list, which is exhausting.
Mhm.
Just try writing a done list. That's so nice.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
the things I've already done, and there's loads. And
Already done. Already done. I'm in favour of. Recently, I've gone back to put in some my daily actions go on a paper diary, because I found that for me, the physical crossing them off, the
Yeah,
physical sitting there and scribbling it off, and I know you can do that on things like Trello and everything else, but for
not
me,
to say.
it wasn't the same. It wasn't making me feel as satisfied, as motivated. And now I've gone back to this paper diary. I absolutely love it.
Mm,
Absolutely love the fact that I write down every day, these are the teeny little things that I'm going to do, and just crossing them off gives me
mm.
such a sense of achievement. And okay, sometimes the things still be on there, but I will cross them off the next day. That's how it happens. So it's finding your way of doing that, isn't it? Of being able to say, I took loads of stuff off my list.
I
Uh,
think you've hit the nail on the head. It's finding your way, actually, in everything. So I agree with you. Some people love the electronic thing, some people love the paper thing. And you know how it feels for you. You just said yourself, when I'm using Trello or just didn't do it for me. That's you. You notice your energy in life. If we notice our energy with the business we're creating, with the clients we're taking on, with the people we're working with, all of it, it's noticing what feels good and right for us. Actually, on the ticky off thing, I've just found the remarkable digital notepad, which has served me wonderfully. So I don't have paper and I don't have electronic. I have a pretend paper that serves as the same thing, but now I don't need a million notebooks. It's all in one. So that's my new thing.
There you go. Amazing. Do you know I bought one? I've had one for a couple of years and never used it.
There you go, you see.
Yeah,
Horses
it's
for courses, isn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely. It is absolutely completely. We're all different, aren't we? We all like using different ways of doing it, but everybody
Thank
I know
goodness.
that loves the remarkable loves the remarkable. Um,
Yeah. And
yeah,
that's why with the tools I provide, and you and all of us as strategists and helping human beings, there has to be a wide variety and adaptability. It is absolutely not a cookie cutter, one size fits all in any way. You have a framework you work to, and within that framework are various ways of working and doing things to suit everybody. So you can all make your own version.
exactly, exactly. There definitely is no such thing as a cookie cutter when it comes to strategy, is that there is no such thing
No.
as if you do this, this, and this, the magic will happen. Yes,
Yeah.
there's things that you have to do,
We
but
wish.
how you do it is completely bespoke to you, isn't it? And I think that's why me and you are so very much aligned, because for
Yeah.
both of us, it although we come at this from different angles and we do different things to help our clients, but we both come at this from an angle of we just want our clients to be happy. We just want them to be fulfilled and have the life that they want, stroke business that they want.
Part
Um,
of it. All
yeah,
part of it, isn't it? Gorgeous.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think there's more and more of that coming out there, isn't there? I think more and more
Yeah.
people are realizing that your story talked about it a lot, and your story gave me goosebumps in a couple of places. Your story very much talked about that, had all of the things, but my story is very much, I had all of the things, but and we want to get rid of that but, don't we? We want to get rid of that. If you want all of the things, that's fine. But do
Yeah.
you actually want them at any expense?
I like to say, I think, don't get me wrong, having money gives you choices and freedom and experiences, but you can have all the money in the world and be so lonely. I've
Absolutely.
been doing a bit of research on happiness at the moment for a talk I'm doing, and it's something like 60% of people who report are conventionally successful report feeling lonely and unfulfilled. That I like to say that because of the panic attacks, have come at this a different way. And because of my background in health, fitness, lifestyle, all the sort of human element, I'm doing this bit before my business gets so hugely successful that way that I know what the foundational things that make me happy are. And now I'm helping people the other way around who they can teach me at the same time. You know, they've built these hugely successful businesses and they're my mentors. But in turn, I'm helping them find the happiness, peace underneath it all, keep those connections because you see it in this world all the time. Health suffers, mental and physical. And if you ain't there to steer the ship or enjoy the journey, what's the point in it?
Exactly that.
And we're
Exactly
both,
that.
yeah, we're both in that, aren't we? We're both
Yeah.
agree on it, and it's
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, the really sad thing is that a lot of people don't always get that until
mm,
they've already reached that point of whether it's burnout, whether it's unhappiness, and that I think is our job, isn't it, in this world to show people and to empower people to realize that actually this is the foundations of life, this is the foundations of business, that you have to be the main part of that. Your happiness needs to be the main part of that, because a happy you is a better mum, a better sister, a better auntie, a better grandma, a better business owner. You're a much better person, full stop, if you
feel
are
better.
exactly
In
that,
all of it.
exactly that. And it's that word, isn't it? It's that feeling successful,
Yeah.
not just looking successful.
And you know that very well with your story. But I think also important to note is that you and I have both learnt this through our own experiences, and there is no shame in having burnt out or done it the wrong way, or there is no wrong way because it's all part of the journey that gets where you are now. I think the important part is noticing where you are now, taking stock, take the time to process how you're feeling and be honest with yourself and take the action to get some help if you know it's not quite working. I think with me, people are quite scared that I'm going to take them away from their business that they've been growing. So I wouldn't dream of it. It's not about that. It's about supporting you so you're far more productive in your business rather than just that noise constantly, the panic, because you can't genuinely, like physiology, I can't think of what the word is now because that's my age. But your brain does not work properly if you're in fight or flight, and that's what that situation. So the work I do is helping you calm down from that, and so you can think clearly, you're productive. We work strategies out. You do, I do, come from different angles in managing all that so that the whole life piece is enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
And I think it's also for anybody that's listening, it's about, this is for everybody. This isn't just for the lucky few or the ones that have got this or that or the other, support or whatever behind them. This is for everybody. Everybody can have a life that they love. Everybody can have a business that they love. They absolutely can. It's just having the right tools in your toolkit. And, something you mentioned earlier on, Georgie, it's getting to know your own triggers, isn't it? It's getting to know the things that are potentially going to put you out of alignment, so you can
yeah,
flick yourself back to where you need to go to. If
yeah.
that's not listening to the news, or if that's not putting yourself into certain
Mm.
groups and communities, then you do what you need to do and know that is okay. It is
And know that you're
absolutely
gonna still,
okay.
yeah, you're still gonna have all the emotions. Happiness is not like, woo, joy, rapture, skipping every day. It's not that at all. It's the general feeling within yourself and within your life. You're still gonna have emotions. You've got to, and you've got to feel them and process them and use those as guides as to where you do and don't want to be, or how certain things you've done or are going through make you feel. It's all, and happiness and a full life looks totally different to each and every person. Instagram leads us to believe that there's only one way, doesn't it? I know we're all a bit
Absolutely.
bigger and a bit more knowledgeable than to think it really does these days, but we still can't help be swayed and compare.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
our own
Yeah.
journey has to be our own journey, otherwise you don't feel that fulfillment and happiness.
Exactly, exactly. And I think this comes, for me, I talk about, if you want to grow a business, you've got to grow alongside it. And this is some of
Love
the stuff
that. I've
that I'm
heard you say
talking
that.
about. This is some of the stuff I'm talking about. A lot of people will automatically talk about growing you means learn more stuff, get more skills, that might be part of it. You might need to do some of that to grow your business, but actually I'm on about you personally. You've got to learn to like yourself, to love yourself, to be confident with yourself, to know yourself, to understand who you are, what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, what do you love doing, what don't you like doing. Because if you don't know any of that stuff, and you don't start to do some of the stuff that you enjoy, your business is never going to give you the fulfillment that you want from your business, because the person running it is not at their happiest point. So the two, absolutely, to me, can't grow your business if you don't grow alongside it.
And the annoying, I guess, thing is, you're not suddenly going to get to the top of the rope and go, oh, they're the things, because we're ever changing. It's transient. We grow, we shift, we change, and we should. And that's a beautiful part of it. So something you enjoyed a couple of years ago might not give you that fulfillment anymore. So when
Exactly.
we come back to that, try things you've not tried before. How do you know? Don't assume you won't love them or they won't change your life, because they just might be that thing.
Exactly. You don't know if you don't try. So give it
No.
a go. And I
Yeah.
think this is where it becomes, where I suppose our own confidence and belief in ourselves, isn't it, is needed to enable us to say, I've tried it, I don't like it, I'm not going to do it again.
Right.
Because sometimes you
Yeah.
might try something and it might actually do really well, but then you
Yeah.
think, you know what, I didn't enjoy that at all. I
Mm.
really didn't enjoy that. And if you don't enjoy something, I honestly believe that in time you will stop doing it well. You'll stop doing it full stop. You'll stop promoting it. At some point, it won't do as well as it perhaps feels like it's doing at the beginning, because your passion won't be behind it. So we just have to know that even if it sells well, if
Yeah.
it's a product or a service, if it doesn't feel right, tweak it and change it, or don't do it at all if you didn't enjoy it.
You're absolutely right. And it's, I guess, but from my background, I don't do any fitness coaching at all now. I've now, just to make very clear, I've never done diet plans or bloody, fitness programs and just standard, never ever done that. But it was about the human. And obviously, I promote movement. One has to move energy and keep your body healthy. However, if you hate going to the gym, I hate all this, get up at 5 o'clock, da, 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 da. If that suits you, great, right? But if you find your passion through being in your garden and weeding and moving in that way and being outside, and that can be meditation. I'm just trying to explain that it is about helping us to really work out which bits work for us. So, yes, we need outdoors. Yes, we need to get quiet. Yes, we need movement and to be healthy. But those things can be made really tailored to you. So it all fits into this part of life, this piece of life that you love. It's not oh, well, I love all this bit, but I've got to go and do this.
Yeah,
And no, yes, you still have to do your washing. Yes, you'll still have to see people you don't like 'cause you might be related to, that, there's those things,
yeah,
but you can cushion those. Yeah, but life, you can cushion those things around. You can bookend them with things you do love. There's strategies to manage the stresses
exactly
in
that.
your life in that way.
Exactly that. And I think that's a key thing, isn't it? It's not about every single thing that you do is gives you massive pleasure. There is always, as you say, things that we have to do that, go
Yeah.
to the dentist, or, there's always something, isn't there, that we know we have to do. But oh, is it your favorite thing to sit there and have somebody prodding around in your mouth for half an hour? No, not of course not.
Yeah.
But you know that if you want to keep your teeth healthy, you've got to go
Yeah.
through that process. So yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely has to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Georgie, it's been an amazing conversation. What I
Yeah.
do at the end of the podcast, as you know, is I ask my lovely guests to share with our listeners a top tip that's going to help them with their growth story. What is your tip?
Do you know what? We touched upon it here. I think my biggest thing is notice your energy. Genuinely. What do I mean by that? Some things in life you can always be bothered doing. And there are some things in life it feels like you just need a rocket up your behind to make you do it. You just don't enjoy it. It could be people that you're with that you feel heavy around, you feel irritated. There could be people that you're with that you always feel really joyful, or things you're doing, things you're reading, things. Do you understand what I mean? It's tuning into those things and doing more of them in your life. So if you hate your job, but you have a real passion, maybe it's, I don't know, crochet, and that seems to be popular with my daughter's friends at the moment. No, don't sack off your job immediately and make a business out of crocheting like that. However, what you could do is start having some quiet time doing a bit of crochet and chuck it on Etsy and see how that goes, and very slowly start to introduce the thing that you love doing. And the universe, I believe, has a very beautiful way of making these things happen, where you can start to reduce the bits you don't like and follow your passion. Just do it slowly, slowly, slowly. That's just an example, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Don't,
fantastic.
just because our life looks one way now does not mean that's what the whole of our life has to look like. We can make really small changes if we tune into what makes us feel good. So that's my free tip that's available right now to everyone.
Brilliant. Love that. Small steps towards where we're going. Love that. Absolutely love that. Okay. So finally, if our listeners want to come and learn more about you and what you do, where is the best place for them to connect with you?
I am Instagram heavy, I would say. That's the best place. You can find me at Georgie Shears Strategist. That's Shears. No one can ever spell that. Now, if you have a look on my bio, because I would normally just give you one link, but I have a few little free things I want to offer you. I offer a free quiz, which will take you less than 3 minutes, and you answer a few really simple questions, and it will let you know which area of life is stopping you feeling that fulfillment. Is it limiting beliefs? Is it habits? You will get a personalized PDF straight to your inbox after filling that in. That's an invaluable resource that I'd love to give you. I also offer a 15-minute chat to anyone, because if I can help someone right now in the moment, that's what I want to do. The link's in there for that as well. And I don't want to bombard you, you'll just find it all in the bio, but I've also just developed another free tool. Now, hear me out on this. It is a free 30-day life-changing gratitude journal prompts. You're going to go, yeah, bloody gratitude journals everywhere. But this is different because the reason I've done it, it is 60 completely unique prompts, 30 for the morning, 30 for the evening. You do one in the morning, one at night. But with it comes a whole load of information, really easy to read, scientifically backed, as to why gratitude helps so much, the science behind it. But also what my wish is that it just gets you into a tiny little habit every day. For 30 days, you commit to it. A, you've committed to something for 30 days. B, cannot tell you the difference you will feel for practicing gratitude, what it does to your brain. It's unbelievable. So my wish to you is that you take all the things on offer, because if we don't take opportunities, our lives aren't going to change. My other wish is that I get to keep in touch with you. So do connect with me, because I love human beings. I don't know if that came across, but
It sure did. It
Ah,
absolutely sure did. And just for me to add a little bit clout behind Georgie's gratitude journaling piece,
yeah.
when I first stepped out of my old business, the monster 7-figure business that we don't talk about, but we do. When I first stepped away from that business and I hit that point of, who the hell am I? I know nothing about me. The first thing I decided to try was journaling. I'd never journaled in my life. I thought I'll try journaling because I know I've got loads of stuff going on in here. I need to get it out. And I spent ages going back to that Googling thing to say, what on earth do you journal about? People say journaling's
It's
great,
hard.
but what do you journal about? So I think that is an absolutely amazing opportunity. If you've never journaled before, I hadn't, and I was not one of those people that would have just naturally flowed down that route. But I can honestly say that was the thing that really got me started in terms of what I call my real growth journey, which is the bit that's happened since I walked away from that business. So take Georgie up on that offer, pop over to her Instagram, into her bio, and get that downloaded. Thank you so much for joining me today, Georgie. It has been an absolute pleasure chatting.
The pleasure has honestly been all mine. I could stay here for hours. Thank you so much, Emma. It's been a real
My
delight.
pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you to everybody else for listening. We will see you next time.